Want to know what happens to your baby in the 4th month? He just turned 3 months old, entered the 4th month, and has news about his development and the stimuli that we should do with our puppies. You know what? Stay with me. I'll tell you. Hello, I'm Monica Romero. I'm very happy to have you here with me. And let's talk about this cuteness that seems that despite having only 3 months of life, just completed 3 months in our life like this, we can no longer imagine ourselves without this baby. Our life has changed, our routine has changed, we still don't sleep much more. Calm down, you will already have a tip to put the sleep routine and make your baby sleep longer, and so do you. One of the things I like most about this month is that your little baby can now see you. You remember he was born with good taste, wonderful smell, and the vision was there, right? Sort of. Now the vision is cool. He is already seeing you, also seeing the people around him. He already recognizes these people using only vision, but still talking about the senses. He continues to bring many objects to his mouth. It turns out to be one of the best ways for him to explore texture, taste. The object ends up having a taste, right? This means that we have to redouble our care with which toys or objects he has access to. Because if he can catch it, he can take it with his mouth. This includes, for example, when you're doing hygiene, he can pick up alcohol. He can pick up other products that are toxic to us humans and to a little baby. He is even more sensitive to all this. So be careful of everything he gets. And remembering that we don't take a child's hand because our hand is dirty, and he will take that little hand inside. Speaking of hand, my God, that's so new. He was born with his hands tightly closed, right? Now that he is 3 months, the little hand is staying open longer, and this will make the play change a little too. But who will tell us this is Aunt Anna from Help Kids, who will appear here by surprise soon, huh? So be aware that there will be Aunt Anna's picture still speaking in the sense of Monica. Baby's hearing, she is increasingly acute, and he is already starting to look even more for the sounds he hears. So if it gets a sound this way or that way, it already starts turning its little head to look for not only the little head, but also the eyes. He moves his head and eyes in search of where that sound so interesting, so different, so curious comes from. When he now enters that 3rd month, he's in his last month of sterogestation. Soon he begins to care much more about the world than he lives in. He found out he came out of the womb, which will make him much more curious about this big world he has out here. This process will happen now in the 4th month of life, and along with it, he can have the crisis of 3 months that we mothers have the feeling that our child is no longer breastfeeding, or that our milk is not enough, or that he sucks too fast and gets distracted. It's natural that it happens because everything draws attention. A noise, a pop, a light. So what are we going to do? We will try to breastfeed our child, feed our child in environments that have less movement, because if a person passes by, they will look. He's curious. And another interesting thing is that before it took him 20, 30, 40 minutes to breastfeed, he achieves a breastfeeding effectiveness at this point in the championship that 5 minutes he can be satisfied. So he's going to use his chest more because he's thirsty, because he is, right? Wanting that affection, that exchange with you. But whoa, look at a light, look at a bird. They are phases of discovery. And instead of you being worried that your milk is not feeding, continue taking consultations with the pediatrician that you will see that he is growing, gaining weight properly. That is, there is no problem with milk. There's no such thing as weak milk, okay, mom, don't worry about that. And most importantly of all, he's discovering that the world he lives in has a lot for him to know. And his development, his curiosity is extremely important, not only for him to know, but also for us to stimulate. And I'm going to give you a stimulation tip. When you go out with your baby for a stroller ride on the street, narrate what you are seeing, narrate to him what a car is, what a bird is. What is a tree? The sky, the cloud, he's already seeing, he's already hearing. This will help him not only distract himself, but learn that things have names. This process starts now, but the development of speech is later, okay? But he's already babbling. Oh, that's delicious. Baby voice is the best thing in the world, right? If he hasn't started babbling, he'll start by now. And anything is important to also notify the pediatrician, okay? These are developmental milestones that the pediatrician also has to observe. And in addition to babbling, he will start some babies, not all of them, sleep like this if they sleep when they are sleepy. They start making little noises, rhythmic to sleep, and that's how my daughter's name came about, because Lucas, when he was going to sleep, he would be like this. Oh, hey. The name of my daughter Larissa was how it happened, because Lucas mastered this song that he created himself. And tell me your little baby is already babbling, already singing. Tell me here in the comments that I am watching and very curious to know. And as I told you that your baby is already attentive to the union, Verso, did you realize that he was born? He also begins to notice when he is alone. Get ready. If when you leave the environment, your child may start crying, he will miss you, he will feel alone. And there is a joke that helps a lot, which is Achu. You open your kid's face with a diaper or yours with a diaper, and you're going to cover it and say, "Where's mommy?" and take it off. Did you? With this, he will discover that even if he doesn't see you, you can be in the same environment. But don't forget that you have to keep talking so he can hear your voice. This will help you in the future when you have, for example, washing dishes. He may be from the environment next door, or he may be together with you. He doesn't need to be glued to you to know you're there. Achu's joke is too much, but for him to start playing this joke himself, to cover himself, to provoke this joke with you, it will take a little longer. You have to have more patience. Now it's your turn to introduce the game to him, and let's return to an important subject that I already commented at the beginning of the video. How is your child's sleep routine? I'm sure you'll tell me like this, Monica, he doesn't sleep at night, or if not Monica, he doesn't even sleep during the day. Monica, he won't leave my lap. What am I going to do? Your child is already at an age where he begins to notice the movements of the house. So if at dusk you already begin to reduce sounds, reduce lights in your house, he already begins to realize that there is something different, and we will then implement the sleep routine. The hormone, right? Melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, will be released when we are at sunset. It's not high at night, it's at sunset. So what are we going to do when sunset starts? We start the sleep routine. We will give this baby a calm bath. Without those agitos, everyone throw water up. He will throw. But we continue there, keeping our voice full, talking, relaxing, finishing the bath. We will do our massage. If you enjoy it, if your baby too. Kurti, I find it difficult not to enjoy it, right? Give my bee a little massage, put on clothes for him to sleep, feed your child. It can be breastfeeding, it can be formula, however you are doing it, in an environment with half light or in the dark and very, very quiet, okay? Preferably it can be in his room where you think it is an environment in which he will sleep. When he sleeps, keep it upright for him. Burp, huh? Important to avoid reflux, including, oh, I'll link a video for you, your baby who golfs a lot. Is it normal? I'll leave this video here. And then you're going to put your little baby to sleep. If he's already asleep, we'll put him in the crib. And we will put a transition object. That the transition object is an object that he likes, that gives him security, preferably that it is soft, smelly, that when he wakes up, he has that object. He grabs it himself, he goes to sleep himself. It could be a pet, it could be a cloth diaper, it could be a blanket. The object you choose is fine. It just can't be sharp or hard because it will sleep. He might end up rolling upwards. He can't hurt himself. It is worth giving this transitional object, turning off the lights for growth hormones to be released. The baby needs to be in total darkness. The baby sleeps in the dark, no problem. Just like your little baby, if he wakes up, you can turn on 16 lights, right? Leave a hallway light on so you can help, but we don't turn on the light in the room that the baby... He woke up in the night. What are we going to do? We will feed, change, do whatever is necessary without interacting with our child. Hold that toothless smile. I know he will smile to break you, he will succeed, but we will keep it there. Bedtime tomorrow, we play those little noises to sleep and take our son back to sleep. Can my crib cried, wake up, your child can help. I like to help without holding him. I sat next to the crib, put my arm on it and kept singing lullabies, but I didn't hold him because I had the impression that holding him in my lap would wake him up more. But it goes within your meaning, within what you believe, okay? None of them are wrong. All techniques work, as long as we are consistent. Keep the technique that will work and the sleep routine to finish. It has to be in the morning, when he wakes up with a delicious good morning. Playing, kissing, really interacting, he'll notice. It is within 2 weeks you will already see an evolution, or you will even be sleeping much more than during the night. He has to relax because the play happens during the day. It's a process. You may have resulted on the first, second, third, fourth Thursday night. Don't assume that success will come. This is my sleep routine tip, but there's a full video here for you on the card. There's a vaccine this month, okay? You have to take the first dose of meningococcal group C conjugate, which is a disease, right, of meningococcal, which can progress to meningitis. So the first dose is taken now. If the baby gets irritated, has any reaction, first blind doctor's advice, if you can medicate or you can put even. Also a chamomile sachet put there where had the chop to bring a little more comfort. And now 2 quick health tips that I know you want Anna to arrive soon, right? So let's go. First tip is your baby suffering from colic. It's probably going to be the last month he's going to have these cramps. Look, good news out there, but one of the ways we calm the baby the most is by letting him belly with us without tissue directly on us. This is one of the most comfortable ways for him and you. But you can also do exercises like massage, circular, wrap clockwise. It's always clockwise, which is where the intestine runs to get to the rectum, okay? You can do this in a technique that is famous now on the internet. You hold your child with his back against you and pull his legs. Leave him as if he were sitting, right? And this movement with the legs rotating to make him go, right? So he's freer to defecate, like he's squatting, okay? But always in a safe position that you and your child are comfortable. These are tips that help a lot. And lastly, you've noticed some cones on the baby's head. Don't take it off with your fingernail, okay? Milk crust or seborrheic dermatitis is completely normal. It will only harm your child if you are not careful. And how do we take this care? When you go to take a bath, for example, leave a conditioner, a softer little thing, for longer to soften it, and you can take it off later gently with the comb. Maybe in the first bath you cannot take it off. But it continues without rubbing, without pulling, with the nail, without giving too much friction so as not to hurt the baby's head, because it can even bleed very gently. You'll see it will work. And there are videos about it here for you too. Aunt Anna, it's nice to see you.
Hey Gay, and let's talk about this amazing 4th month of life of our babies.
Welcome, Aunt Anne. I know you were looking forward to her arrival. Me too. Welcome back.
Thank you again. And let's talk about this 4th month that so many things happen now, and the baby with that delicious smile and us getting more and more in love.
Delicious, huh? The baby is growing more and more. He interacts. But what are the developmental milestones after the baby completes 3 months of life? I mean, what will he do differently?
When this baby is on his stomach, Monica, he will try to reach your knee, so those legs will be closer to the baby's tummy. Maybe a bit surprising. Of course, there are some babies who are already a little bit more advanced that they like to explore a lot.
They really do.
They risk getting that foot. But the real milestone is the little baby grabbing your knee. When he's boating up, he'll try to get all the objects. So those little activity mats that we have with the bow, they go there, interact, try to pull this bow, try to catch these objects. They can stay on one side, they lateralize, which is what we talk about. Look how many cool things are going to happen now. But what?
If my little baby Aunt Anna is not yet lateralizing, that is either he lies on his stomach, or when I put it on the timing time, if he is not lateralizing, I can help this baby, or when I help, I am hindering our development.
Must. We put this baby in various positions for him to play. So remember, we talked about this since he was born. What if the baby hasn't stuck yet? Play sideways. We put this baby aside to play, just as we also put him on his tummy. It is very important that we have already said, but let's repeat. When he is on his tummy up and I'm going to put this baby on his tummy down, let's play taking this baby to the tummy down position. When we pick up the baby and put it there on the carpet on the floor, we play and we go, always taking the baby with objects of interest on the side so that this baby wants it. Stay on your side and want to roll, because from the 4th month of life, this rolling begins, and then we leave the baby on its tummy down.
And it is true that the most appropriate toys for the baby, now 3 months, are those softer and brightly colored.
At this age, we have those little toys that the baby grabs with his hands. There are several teethers because they're in this oral phase, exploring a lot. They start drooling a lot. Many mothers doubt whether their teeth are coming because of this drool. So we have these objects made of plastic and rubber. But what's very important, as Monica said, is the hygiene of these objects. And no.
Time, what changes looking through the lens of truth?
So when they are on their tummy down, now this little arm, that is, the elbow is no longer in the line of the shoulder. It is already a little ahead because babies start doing what? The range of objects. So he leaves the object on the ground at that moment so that the baby can reach, catch it, and often he will take it here in his mouth, because that's what we said, that he also does it on his tummy up, and he can turn his head to both sides. And you'll notice that this torso is much taller, but this elbow is still not as stretched. He is a little more bent in this 4th month of life, and at the same time, this baby begins to experience a lot there from the right and left side, that they begin to fall many times to one side and the other when they are going to reach this object. And then we often come across that little baby who has gone astray, and the parents are delighted. It is still an unexpected block movement, which will soon become more voluntary at this age. And it's very important for us to also say, Monica, that a word that became very well known on the internet was the Sphinx, okay? Aunt Anna loves to talk about. And the pup, when it is 3 months old, supports the elbow on the ground, raises the trunk, and the head is 90 degrees. Some babies are 34 months old. They already begin to lift more and more this trunk, and some already stretch this arm, supporting this open hand very well on the ground. But not all babies will do that, because this position that we call long puppy will happen around 5 months of life. Some a little less, some a little more development. Remember that we have already talked about that it is a caudalcephalus, that is, it goes from the head to the feet, from the midline to the extremities. But we have a sequence of this development, but the pace can be varied. In other words, there are children who will do the pivot, which is the tattoo of the clock, with their tummy down. Because many mothers have this question, Monica. They think that when the baby is tummy up and they find him in the crib, every hour in a position that he has pivoted. And no, that's not the pivot. Pivoting is when the baby is tummy down. And you can already play in this way, placing the objects on the baby's side, and he begins to move. And of course, with the days, with the months, this gets faster and faster, and the baby often starts to make a 360-degree turn, and then some talk like this. But mine doesn't do well, folks. That's why this construction of the baby's movements, which we call the motor repertoire, is extremely important. This 3-month-old baby, that is 4 months of life, we should not leave the baby sitting. Why? We are already at a doctor's appointment, we already sit this baby, we are watching television, this baby is already here, leaning on our lap, so he is already in this position for a few moments, but we encourage a baby of 3 months, 4 months of life sitting on the floor. That's not what we're suggesting. He still has a lot to do on the ground. Roll, grab this little foot, pivot sideways, right? Which is what starts all this. Lift this arm well, lift this trunk well, and then we start playing with this baby in a sitting position.
But not even with support if I put a nursing cushion so he's a little more inclined, not like that.
If he lies back, then we're talking about a little baby who is here, lying back, who often goes on the walk. You mentioned to walk there, telling everything that happens, right? The trees, the car, the bird, the baby will often be more leaning back. It's different from sitting baby.
Even for this position, when you are in the stroller, if you want to use the baby in comfort, it will keep this baby in that position. If your cart is that flatter, it's not yet to go up completely, okay? He doesn't have to lie down completely because he's curious. It's interesting that he looks around, but he still can't get 90 degrees. So it has to be either that stroller that reclines little by little or use a comfort baby.
Right? And many do. And many babies at that time or even before, right? They begin to make a force to raise that head. And many families believe that this baby no longer wants to lie down, that he wants to sit. And then the time we start sitting down, the babies. And Aunt Anna suggests that you don't make this mistake, because later we may be faced with a static baby because we are trying to skip steps with this child, and that's not what we want.
But I can already buy the Mandador, right? If he's already getting firm, he can put it there in Mandador, right, Aunt Anna?
Oh, my face.
In no way. The walker is not indicated by Aunt Anna, nor by the Brazilian Society of Pediatrics, nor American Society of Pediatrics, including in many countries, being prohibited for sale. The walker does not help with development. It will help, in fact, to provoke accidents to the baby get where he should not go at an age that he is not prepared. The situation is chaotic. Pool, step, too much. The baby might fall in the pool or on a step. He's already fallen head first. No walker. I know a mother will argue, but Monica used it for my other son, my mother used it for me, and everything was fine. I love this. Let's skip the accident part and discuss why the walker isn't beneficial, Tiana.
Baby begins to unload weight in regions and joints that he is not prepared for normally when we put a baby in the walker, the one that we put the baby in, long before the baby stands on his own. And this also happens with jumpers and vampires. We also have to be very careful. I know there are some on the market, so they are wonderful.
Those that we hang there on the doorknob and the child sways, happy with life, it looks like it's bringing a playground to the kids, but it's bringing a developmental delay.
And there is also on the market what looks like a walker, where the child stands there jumping people. It seems super fun, but pay attention to this, because we are also unloading weight in regions that the baby is not yet ready for us to carry out. Then don't. That's my suggestion. It's really cool, it's really beautiful, it's really fun, that's what it sounds like. But we can have problems with the baby's motor development.
This also applies to the use of screens. Okay, I know that sometimes they put a little chicken there or with several others that are very cool, are educational, are fun, are musical, and the child stays there hypnotized. Over time, this excess screen also brings problems, not only in development, but in children's behavior. You want to play the songs, play the music without the screen, okay? The music will make the child happy. It's a delight. It also develops in the intellectual part. It does not have to be classical music. Any music brings intellectual development to children, but does not put excess screen. We're going to have a series of frozen zombies on screen, and what do we want? Child playing on the floor.
And sing to the baby. Enjoy and learn the little songs because you will sing a lot. They love it, there's plenty. The song that we start singing to the children, there are several. They are artists who talk about children, and at the same time we teach them because later they will imitate, right? There are several songs for this, and it's a delicious moment. So put the music, but not the screen, for the baby and sing to him.
And I'll tell you a secret. If you like songs in another language, if the baby won't judge you, you can sing it wrong that he doesn't care.
And do not forget that the baby can never, not for a second, be alone in the changing room. And beware of letting these babies sleep in beds, because the baby can now roll over more and more. And then we listen a lot, you know, Monica, but it doesn't roll yet, folks. It's a blink of an eye. There are several accidents with changing clothes in beds. So a little baby is either in the crib or he's on the floor. This is where he will play and develop you. And look how much stuff. Now he plays and explores.
And when we think about putting it on the bed and doing 11 surrounded by pillows, this can also cause suffocation, okay? Although he is already getting tired sometimes from trying to escape from that, it can bring suffocation to child. So, child sleeps in a place suitable for her, which is a cot without kit, cot without blanket, without anything. Nothing that can cause suffocation, disturb the baby's sleep. Or you can leave Sunday there on the carpet. You have that cute GVA. He can nap there too. It's much safer than leaving a little bit there in your bed and suddenly having a domestic accident. Diana, thank you.
Thank you once more. Enjoy our video and send your questions. Doubts, right, Monica, that we're here to help you.
Follow Aunt Anna on Instagram and help her kids in front of her. Also follow the Parents' Almanac. All pictures and infographics from this and other videos are on Instagram. Monica and Aunt Anna respond to questions there. Agreed? But don't go, stay with me. Aunt Anna left, but you're still here. Now let's talk about you, Mom. Mom tells me, how are you? How have those months been for you? And I'm not just asking about the good part. I also want to know about your challenges. How have you dealt with them? If you are already better, if you are already feeling a little more willing. The fatigue continues, right? The sleepless nights continue. The time of dedication also continues. But now you're supposed to be happier. Those problems we should have from the baby blues should be in the past. If they are still in your present, please seek help. It may be postpartum depression. You can talk to your obstetrician or even your child's pediatrician. They will be able to guide you or even indicate a professional to help you go through this moment. Another important thing, have you ever looked in the mirror and then you didn't recognize that curve? It's not mine. I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling pretty. You may already be in this process. It may take a while to arrive. And I'll tell you, mine appeared when Larissa was 2 years old. And when we look in the mirror, we don't recognize ourselves and decide to change. I call it the click moment. Why? Because it is a moment when we also start to think about ourselves and understand that motherhood is not our only function. In addition to motherhood, we also have to feel good about other things in our lives. For example, as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter, as a professional, as that hobby you like to do, be it going to a gym, a painting, an art you like. We have to feel good, and all these vessels have to be watered. You're not your moment yet, okay? You are still on maternity leave, which is that time that the baby demands too much. We don't have time. But why am I telling you this? I'm aware you're active on social media. Have you seen that famous actress who just gave birth and already regained her slim figure? Let's be honest. These women, they make a living. And in order for them to have this perfect body, a few weeks after giving birth, they give up many things, such as breastfeeding. They go through surgery too, which can stitch up their muscles, and for the other procedures that make her, right? Continue with your breadwinner, which can be your body, your image. But we're normal people, right? We have to count on genetics. And if you don't have that very privileged genetics, it's natural that it takes you up to a year to recover your body. One of the things that helps us recover in shape is breastfeeding. But breastfeeding ends up not being the reality for many women either, okay? And then you say, Monica, I'm breastfeeding, you're not losing weight. Yes, because we are also hungry for a lion. What are we going to do? Try to eat healthier, have access to healthy food. Because if we are going to open a package when we are hungry, healthy food is not in packages. We don't go to eat healthy food, do we? We will cook, we will prepare, we will peel, we will not open packages. Pay a little more attention to your food. If you're not feeling good about your body, it's not time to charge yourself, okay? But if this is important to you, start by improving the things you eat without forgetting to always be super well hydrated. That's what I hope you really enjoyed this video. Tell me all about your baby. I want to know your weight. I want to know your height. I want to know how you are. Don't forget to share this video with the people you like. Let me like it so I can subscribe to the channel. If you are not already registered, I will see you in the next video.